You're such an asshole.
So the South Dakota internet gods have been kind enough to grant me internet access, but we'll see what they giveth, they taketh away. I'm going to be quick about this because I got to go to the airport. Here I am again. This is relation to your minimalism course, so it should be an email response, but then you want a video. So maybe there's no such much. He's not English first language. So maybe there is no so much interesting and valuable things in living aside from working and competing in the best way to spend the money. I mean, we as humans cooperate with each other strictly if we have something common and a direction. What can minimalists gives? Hobbies and freedom isn't as genetically employable. Yes, we can intellectually stimulate ourselves, continue to pursue novelty, but that is not as strong, equal, valuable desire as materialism that is related to our own survival mechanism. Should be, but it isn't. And right here, you're wrong. This is why you're confused. We're going to set you straight. And so, if humans are the most important things in our life, how can we operate in the stage of freedom and absence of desire if it is all we have common? What values, hobbies, interests should we pursue that will give us a purpose and our newfound freedom that also make our bond stronger than desire to get back to materialism, compete with the Joneses? All right. So let's go back here. We can intellectually stimulate ourselves, continue to pursue a novelty, but that is not as strong or as valuable desire as materialism. You have misunderstood minimalism. So we'll go with this. The whole point of minimalism is not to have it as a treatment. It is not a treatment to materialism. It is the cure to materialism. And whereas all of society and a fair amount of your genetic code has been programmed and conditioned for you to consume, whether it's money or not money, food, material items, media, whatever else. And there's a big, strong biological compunction to do so. Minimalism, if you sit down, and you don't have to take my course, you could sit down and read and sit and think about it. I mean, you could like any other thing, you can self-educate. Once you understand minimalism, you won't want the material items. Like the saying, a man who could buy anything and walks out of the mall with nothing is the happiest man in the world. And that is the whole point about minimalism. There is a life philosophy, there is a world, there is a mental state that is better than having all the material things in the world. You're a Scrooge McDuck sitting on your money and all the things by. There is a better standard of living. And minimalism is what shows you that. It says you don't need the stuff. Now, how do you get there? Right? The main way, and I talk about this in the minimalism course, I'm not giving anything away really. But what I always try and pointed out many times before, is that novelty should do this job for you. If you're the slightest bit intelligent, I don't listen to music anymore. Why? Because it all sounds the same, and I listened to it when I was younger. I don't really go to the movies anymore. Why? Because it's no longer novel or unique. Why do you all get sick and tired of having sex with your wife? Because it's the same gal. It's novel. It's boring. Why does Sterling Cooper, a porn star, get sick and tired of going to work and having sex with a bunch of different beautiful women? Because it's no longer novel. And while when you start off young and okay, everything's new and yeah, you'd like to have all the things and the stuff, at a certain point in time, you should say, you know what? This isn't different. I'm a 40-year-old fat, pasty Minnesotan white dude whose wife is probably banging everybody else. And I'm going to watch yet another game where the Vikings lose. I'm going to put on the other man's jersey in a homoerotic fashion. I'm going to go down to the spot, and it's going to be Groundhog Day, day after day after day. And maybe there's an intelligence level people need to have to realize that's just pissing away your time. That's the whole point of Groundhog Day. But I mean, you got to be pretty stupid not to pick up, like, it's not novel. How is this fun anymore? What value is it bringing to your life? And so after a certain amount of time, assuming you have all your food, clothing, and shelter, all of Maslow's hierarchy of needs kind of taking care of the main ones anyway. Somewhere in your 20s, maybe even your 30s, you should be like, this is the same. I don't want to go to the nightclubs anymore. I don't need a fancy car. And then the benefits to minimalism should start becoming apparent. First and foremost of which is freedom. You are a slave to nature to a certain extent. You have got to work up the food and calories of energy to feed yourself, clothe yourself, and house yourself. And in the United States, and then we've come up with different economic systems and labor markets. You get employment, they give you money, you take the money, you pay somebody else through a medium of exchange for the farmers to make your food and the tradesmen to have sex with their sisters and maybe build you a house. Maybe they'll build you a house. You don't know. Maybe they do. All right. But what minimalism does is says, okay, you don't need that much of a house. How little can you get by on? And what that does is it frees you. The freedom that comes with minimalism should, aside from, okay, I'm bored with materialism. I don't need any more widgets and fancy cars. And all that should put you out into the desert to go seek something better. And I'm just telling you the straight route where the desert leads is freedom, where you could do whatever you want with your time. And then, and this is why I have the picture of The Last Samurai up there. If you haven't seen it, it's an all right movie. But the main reason you should see it is, I forget the actor's name. He enjoys having conversation with Tom Cruise's character. That's the whole point. He's technically a prisoner of war, and he talks to him, and they establish a friendship. He says, I shall miss our conversations. And it meant a lot to me back then because that's all you have. That's all there is. So once you get your freedom, you should not want anything. Why? Because it clutters your house. That's why, because you got to deal with it. Do you know how pissed off I get when I got to deal with some material item in my house? The absolute pain in the ass I went through having to replace the television and a computer after a lightning strike. You know how pissed off I was that I wasn't allowed to go hike and enjoy and live my life, my finite effing life, at that moment in time for that about a month. Now I got sick and now I can't do what I want. All right. I don't want to deal with the stuff. But what it prevented me from doing was enjoying my life, which is freedom, doing what you want. And then ultimately, as we introduce other people into it, because it's the only other thing in life, would be conversation with other people. That's it. That's all you got. That's why that movie was so spot on about that saying there. I will miss our conversation. Because what else do you do with humans? I know you could have sex with women. I get that. Okay. I mean, there's maybe there's a further level of connection there. Sure. Okay. Right. Whatever you share. I read that somewhere. Right. Okay. Okay, Dave Ramsey. Thank you very much. Wait, do Christians have sex even? Oh. I'm picking on Dave. All right. But your buddies, that's where you're going to be happiest, is hanging out with your chums, having good conversation. And that's the only way you interact with other people's conversation. You guys in the military, these idiots, don't join the military. Where are you going to get camaraderie like that ever again? Where? I mean, or join the cops, where are you going to get that? Play sports. This is people think I'm against sports. No, I'm not against playing sports. Go join the team. Like, I play my poker, and what do? You just sign up and you play poker. Why? Because you're going to win? No, it's because you get to insult each other. It's great. You feel like you belong. Hey, Limp Dick is here. Like, hey guys, good to see you. And when you get older, my old man will do this. He's like, hey, my buddy got me. He got a good one. He like saves them and tells me, oh, he got a good dig on me. Oh yeah, that's a good one. He doesn't tell me, oh, I bought his shirt. We got a new truck or whatever the hell I don't even know what vehicle they drive. No, that's what happened. And when you're gonna die, I'm not gonna be sitting there. Oh, remember that really sweet suit I got in the swing dance days? I'm gonna remember my little niece coming up, like when I walked in. She but just barely learning to speak. She looked at me and says, "Uncle Alan, hell yeah, hell yeah, that's me." Giving her hugs and everything and playing a really watered down version of baseball that a 3-year-old can maybe play. Wasn't a lot of rules, and she didn't really follow what little rules we had, but that's what we had. My other niece, I said, "Hey, how much do you think we could get for your dad if we sold him to the circus?" She's only 5. She thought I was serious. "I don't want to sell my dad to the circus. I love him." I'm like, "Kid, we ain't gonna sell your dad to the circus." And my friend like, "Well, you want to sell Uncle Aaron to the circus?" And she says, "Yeah." I'm like, "What?" That's it. That's it. And once you go, I don't know, through that journey, through that thought process, the exhaustion of novelty, of material things, you should come to the point that it's conversation. And then you shouldn't want things. You won't. Not only because you're sick of them, because there's something better. And I don't know why it is. You still got people 40 plus. "Oh, go Vikes. Small pencil dick guy from Bloomington." I don't know why women keep chasing $5,000 handbags. I don't know why y'all keep getting master's degrees that don't have a job at the end of them. I mean, it makes sense you have a job at the end, it pays you more. Okay, that makes sense. But just for prestige? I don't understand jewelry. I mean, unless it's fashionable, like, but like, "Oh my god, this is a real whatever, sapphire or blue diamond." Like, and I don't know why people hoard. I don't know why all you people in the suburbs buy your fancy cars on credit. You don't spend time with children. I don't know why you women outsource your children to daycare. I don't know why you husbands let your wives do that. I don't know why poor. We did suburb. Let's do poor people. I don't know why you need your Air Jordans. I don't know why you need whatever it is poor people buy that's stupid. I don't know why people in Wyoming, the double Dodge, why duty hammer, double Dodge diesel, do dang diggly pickup truck with truck nuts. I don't know why, because ain't none of you happy. I don't know why you can't get to that point to realize, you know what? The past 5 Range Rovers didn't make Bipsy happy. And the 6th one might not make her happy either. There's Bipsy. I'm like, and I don't care. Because you guys can piss away your life all you want. I'm going to enjoy my life. The peak irony is I'm out there hiking. And what's funny is the Black Hills now have enough cell phone towers on top of the mountains. You can get pretty good reception now. Even if you're out in the middle of nowhere, all you got to do is go up a hill. You'll get it. I'll take a picture of a beautiful hike, a beautiful creek and a bend, a beautiful cliff, something, and I'll post it. Today's office. No, I know my audience gets it. You all know how you, but then the rest of you, "I don't know how you do it, Aaron. It's just everybody gets all the luck. Like, I don't know how you do it. Living there in the suburbs with your 3rd mortgage on your $650,000 McMansion and paying your kids way to Bethel for a joke of a degree in political science. I don't know how I do it. But I don't know how you do it, sitting out there in the burbs with your car you can't afford, your wife who's banging the neighbor even though she's fat." Right? And so if you're like, "Oh, material, what do we do for hobbies? What do we do so we're not tempted by materialism anymore?" You have failed at minimalism if you're still tempted by materialism. I mean, honest to God, do you still watch Sesame Street? You should be done with Sesame Street, not because you're a child or you're an adult. It's just like you've seen it before. It's boring. You got it. You got it. Like, um, uh, how many times you got to go? I don't know. Watch a movie. I mean, unless it's Kelly's Heroes or Die Hard, I could see watching it a bunch of times. But you've seen a movie once. How many times you got to see it again? You should move on from the materialism. Realize it never gave you happiness, point, and purpose in life anyway. It was fun when it was novel, but what, you need another a Call of Duty, whatever the hell they're gonna come out with. It ain't even gonna have the campaign. Well, you need another one of those. And then you should move on to people. Now, I will grant you this. Especially in America, but the West in general, but especially America, the people here are inferior. And I mean that. I don't mean genetically or biologically. I mean philosophically, mentally, intellectually. You people are inferior. You could have an IQ of 150. You're all inferior because you're so dumb. You're so stupid. You get caught up with this materialism. You are so brainwashed and to all you Americans, you're all brainwashed and programmed. They want a truck, to want a handbag, to want to, I don't know what the hell it is you people piss away all your money on. And I think peak inferiority is when we outsource our kids to daycare because you don't love them. You might love them, but you love yourself more than you love the kids. You love your career. You love whatever your career buys you or for. You love the status. That's peak. Like they're going to look back at it as historians in the future and say, did you know they didn't raise their own children? You just outsourced them to the state, to government daycare facilities or government subsidy, however. Did you see? They didn't even raise their own kids. They wondered why society collapsed. You won't even spend time to raise your own children. And then the narcissism where you're all worshiping yourself like, oh my God, I'm such a hot woman. I'm big and beautiful. And Tyler Swift said so. And Lizzo said so. And you're all worshiping yourselves, not investing a single ounce into other people. You could just this, you all are just incapable of other people forming relationships with you under the domain of loving relationships with that's friendly, brotherly, sisterly, familially, romantically. The average American is not a lovable human being. They're not deserving nor are they capable of love. They are robots, they are NPCs, and they are materialists. And that is all there. And maybe there's a little bit of socialist politics or trait-based politics in there, or some kind of that's their operating system. But they are not capable of love, all forms of love, and therefore forming true, genuine relationships. And that's why I'm sympathetic with you, because it's hard. Now, maybe you don't live in the United States if English is your second. Maybe you, thankfully, somewhere else where people might have more tradition, where there's not a copious, there isn't the Mall of America. You can't get a penis extender pickup truck F-250 for 17% APR financing for 8 years. Maybe you're almost forced to like hang out with each other to appreciate your fellow human being. All right. But in the United States, the people are shit. You can't form friendships with shit. They're slow, they're dumb, they're slothful. You can't even get them to go out. And as I said, this is why I'm sympathetic with you, because, yeah, it's a desert out there, man. I don't know where you find people. Most of my socialized and intellectual stimulation I get online because at least there's people here who are smart. Now, thank God the internet, we find each other, and it's not the same as in person. I get that, but at least it's something. I binge on podcasts. I listen to a ton of podcasts because Turf Flinging Monkey is a much better conversationalist than pretty much anyone else I know. I am eternally thankful for the poker buddies I got, that I walk in and we're all just starting to bust each other's balls right off the bat. I'm eternally thankful for them. And so going forward, that is the biggest hurt. That's the biggest challenge. Anyone who's the slightest bit independent minded and is aware they're a sentient human being, that's the biggest challenge you guys are going to face, is finding people that are interesting and worthy of love. Again, not always sexual, romantic, but brotherly and forming a relationship with. And if you find those people, please hold on and cherish them, because they will go away. I've had that happen. For, they got promoted, they go somewhere else. Oh, internet's down. Whatever else have you. Sorry, the internet's bad. And that I usually put, there's no people. What hobbies? Well, you got to find out whatever hobbies you want. I'm not going to tell you what hobbies to not to do. It's whatever you want to do before you die. If you need a list, go get my book, The Menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. It goes through everything that there's to do in life, assuming you're not getting married, which half of you aren't. So there's that. Now, then you had a follow-up. Because the question just appears in my mind. Will wealthy people save a lot more time having infinite amount of money and learn how to appreciate it and become a mature, wise individual? Um, Hang on. If I may add, I have additional questions. For my first view, I thought of a few. But if we are at the final stage of luxurious human existence where there is nothing but creativity and production, will hardworking people be better off with problem-solving experience? Yes, because they're hardworking people and they solve problems. Or does the lack of stress that rich people experience create a more unique perspective and understanding of life? They just see rather than participating in. A smart person learns from other people's mistakes, and through repetition, internalization occurs. I have purchased and completed almost all of the books and courses. And who do you recommend as English teacher courses? Oh, I don't know. I've always spoke English in my life. I've never needed a course in it. All right, but let's go back to your question here. Okay, so you're thinking there's some kind of advantage for wealthy people because they have money. They don't have to like put their nose to the grind and survive and get by. Um, I would take almost the opposite viewpoint. You need to experience what everyday humans experience, and you need to support yourself. You need to have no support, whether it's government or parents, so that you know what the value of a dollar is, and what a dollar or any currency is the value of human time. So not only when you have free time, because you've sacrificed your time to support yourself, when you interact with other people, you appreciate it. And you're like, oh my God, I remember when I'd have the rare Friday night off and I could go to a party in college. I think I only went to like 4. I was so excited. I was so excited. I mean, ultimately, it was a waste of time, but I was excited because it was rare. It was scarcity. And then when you work a lot and you support yourself, you know the value of a dollar, i.e., the value of human time. You will respect other people's time. You won't be late. You won't be solipsistic. You won't be an NPC. You think other people aren't fellow human beings. You realize, no, they got to work. They had to sacrifice. They had to invest. I mean, nowadays we just give everybody money and we wonder why everyone's a piece of shit douchebag. I'm like, well, Democrats and socialists are pieces of shit douchebags. They're ultimately arrogant little children that you've created without forcing them to be adults. Entitled little parasitic brats. That's all. Oh, surprise. You don't know. Oh. I'm not saying Republicans are the greatest friends either, but I'm just saying. But with wealth, if wealthy people earned it, like they started off with 0 and they earned it, yes, they're some of the most amazing and fascinating people. They've earned it. Because and they never forgot what it was to be like a normal human being. I'll never forget what it's like working 29 hours straight. True story. Me and Khan, friends to this day. I'll never forget what it's like patrolling in the cold. Never. I'll never forget what sleep deprivation and starvation is. Never. Now, maybe mine's a little more extreme, but if you go through supporting yourself, and we all have that common human experience, and therefore you can relate to your fellow man because not everyone is rich, then you'll appreciate them, you'll respect them, you'll identify them as individuals, which is capable of forming love and relationships and a foundation to that. Rich people who just inherit it, they're not human. They don't know what it's like to be human. They've never had to work in their lives, and all they know is consumption. That's it. Maybe some mental illness as well as society feeds them full of bullshit like, "Oh, you're brave and amazing," and they go into, like, have you ever noticed how rich trust fund kids start going to weird religions or spirituality stuff like chakra crystals and astrology and all this other that's just them looking for point, purpose, and existence life. I say, well, why don't you go work an entire set all your mom? I say give up your money, just put your money aside, see if you could go support yourself on 40 hours a week. See if you could go live off of $12 an hour. See if you could do that. Then I'll give you point, purpose, and reason in life. But they're weak. They're sad, pathetic. They're inferior. They're just inferior people. They are. You didn't work anywhere near as normal people. Get the F out of here with your trust fund. And so you're going from the approach, well, they have all the money and now they could sit and philosophize and look, oh, they made the mistake. I'm going to learn from their mistakes. Yeah, anyone could do that if you're smart enough. But having money is not going to accelerate the rate at inherited money, not earned money. Earned money will get you there quicker. Inherited money, you don't have to be rich. You could just be a welfare bum where everything's handed to you. You get free Section 8 and all that. Unearned money will prevent you from abandoning materialism and inevitably finding true happiness and joy in life because you didn't walk the path and you cannot associate with regular everyday people. If you earn the money, that process, I would say, will get you there much faster than anything else, especially self-supportation. And so there is not, I mean, yeah, there's a benefit of being rich. You don't have to work, but it almost, what's the word? Not paralyzes you, immunizes it. You don't feel anymore. You can't feel. You lost the sense of touch. It prevents you from bonding with other human beings because you don't know anything about what it's like to be a normal everyday human being and have value. Your value system is warped. I talked about that when I did security for one of the Saudi people. Like all they did was buy stuff. They're billionaires. All they did was buy stuff, and they're a robot. There was no life. Their eyes were dead. They weren't able to assess value because they didn't know money was human time, and what does it take human time? They just had billions given to them. And you go buy stuff, and then that cycle repeats. And then like miserable people, miserable. And so I don't think there's any advantage. If not, there is a disadvantage. What's the word I'm looking for? Where you can't touch. It's not paralyzed. I know you're paralyzed, but you can't sense. You can't. It prevents you from bonding. It just isn't going to happen. All right, real quick. I got 4 minutes. Let's just save the super chats maybe for the next one. All right, Mac Wilson, $2. What's your opinion of UAW strikes? Unions want to strike, they can strike. I heard they wanted 40% more. That's in line with inflation. But all right, maybe they go overseas. I don't know. Ken Rose, $5 says peace. Thank you, Ken. Caprigoon Cabulous, $2. Does travel lose its novelty? Yes, it does. It does. Like I'm not as excited about motorcycle riding as I used to be. Everything. Everything has a shelf life. If Selma Hayek showed up here and we banged for 5 days, on the 6th day, I'd be like, get the F out of my house. Get the F out of my house. She's like, but titties. I'm like, yeah, I've seen them. I need you out of here now. Nonstop Dre, $2. Cappy is a natural minimalist at 5 foot, poor little guy. Dre, get for $2, but Cappy at 5 foot, everything is an overachievement. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Cabulous, $5, was thinking of buying a new water gun, but you came on, so thanks for saving me money. Yeah, you only can fire one at a time, water or real. Nonstop Dre, $2. I love socializing with local people where I'm at. Yep. Well, you're in a more traditional country, so that's good. That's good. All right. The minimalism class is not open. I don't have that open all the time. It's smaller sister companion introductory courses. It's called Achieving Financial Excellence, which is like there's some overlap there. That's nowhere near as expensive. That's available on Teachable. I have also linked to it below. Achieving Financial Excellence teaches you the true and real role of money in your life, so you're not being a dumbass. The minimalism one is a much more deep dive, and it talks about basically becoming unaddicted to materialism. But I only open that sparingly. That's it. All right, I'll see you guys later. Toodles.